Hey, at the ordnance. What's going on, man? OP, how you doing? Oh, just out driving, getting some work done. We're working on the 26th this week. Yeah, about the same. Just went and got some side work done. Heading back towards the shop in a minute. Figured, what the heck? It's a drive. The weather's nice. Let's do it live. Just a nice 55 degrees. But yeah, we're working on the Glock 26 slide this week. It's almost done. Almost done. And we got an order for about 50 of them. Getting ready to get that up. Hope to hit the range sometime this week, if not next week. Every time we try to go to the range, something hits us. It's driving me nuts. I did get to test out, a customer was having an issue with one of theirs, and I tested theirs out. And based on the limited information that they were giving us, I'm presuming something, because they haven't sent us photos, and I've been asking for photos of specific things. They haven't sent us photos, but I'm presuming something is wrong with their frame, which is newer old polymer 80. Because we ran ours on an SCT Glock OEM and a polymer 80, funny enough, and flawless. But of course, the base measurement is on Glock OEM frames, and if it's running well there, it should run well anywhere, so long as nothing is wrong. Oh yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, Arizona skies, absolutely beautiful. I mean, the summer will try to kill you, but the sky is just awesome. Absolutely stunning. Got some rain earlier today, and now it's clearing up. So the temp will start to warm up a little bit, but right now, yeah, nice 55, gotta love it. Of course, in stark contrast, summer was like 110 to 120. But for those of you who are not familiar with us, welcome to Stiffler Manufacturing, where we turn bars of steel into gun slides, specifically for the Gen 3 Glock 19 and Glock 17. And we're finishing up on the 26, which we hope to have released by the end of this month. And after that, we are tiptoeing into the design phase of the Glock 43. And we picked up a few 43 slides, OEMs, and some other aftermarket, do some testing with, measure everything against. And yeah, we're going to get started on the 43, hopefully in the coming weeks. Not in enough time for California, I'm sorry to say. I'm hoping we'll be done with the 43 sometime near the end of first quarter for 2026. A lot of stuff keeps hitting us up. For example, we got SHOT Show going on in January. So that's going to take like a week of our time away from us. Go out to SHOT Show, meet and greet, talk to people, what have you. But it should be fun. Omar, what's going on, man? Though some of you might have already seen it, and I can't confirm it because I've only seen little clips, but apparently they have already made a switch that fits the Glock V series. Yep. a little sooner than I thought it was going to be, but there's some videos and some images floating around. I knew it was going to happen. You can't stop it. We knew that somebody, I figured maybe 6 months, a year tops. But nope, looks like it was even faster. You know, I don't know what that says for California and a few other states that are in legal disputes with Glock, as well as the one with Ruger RXM. But, I mean, we all knew this was going to happen. Oh yeah, we'll make a new slide that's not Switch compatible. Just wait. Just wait. It'll happen. I mean, part of that is you have, you know, people who are legislating firearms that don't know a goddamn thing about firearms. Like, if you look at some of California's crazy restrictions, they just don't make sense. And so people engineer and design their way around them. Though most of the time, honestly, they're not really attacking form and functionality. They're attacking, like, cosmetics. Stuff that doesn't hinder the function of it, but just makes people, like, less happy with it. Which I think is just silly. But that's California for you, though. I mean, they're requiring people to get background checks for barrels. I mean, people need to replace their, especially if you're a competitive shooter, or you're just somebody who shoots all the time, you're gonna wear out your barrel faster than the average person. Or maybe you just want a better one down the road, and California's just like, yeah, you gotta get a background check for that. The fuck? But I mean, there's a lawsuit ongoing about the background check for that. Then there's the whole age verification thing they're pushing on other people. And you know, that one they might win because, I mean, take a look at all the states that require age verification for, you know, pornography. You want to go look at a porn website, there's all these sites that want age verification. And so California pushed the envelope on age verification for firearms, accessories, and parts. Which is why we are not going to be shipping slides or parts or accessories to California come January 1st. Hey, Copeman, what's going on, man? Welcome to Stiffler Manufacturing. We are driving through Arizona right now. Just got done raining not too long ago. We are a slide manufacturing company. We make aftermarket slides that fit the Glock 19 and Glock 17. We're also working on one for the Glock 26 we hope to have out pretty soon. After that, we'll be working on the 43. But yeah, man, just driving through Arizona right now and chatting it up, answering questions as I can. It's freaking beautiful out here. I was just talking about California. We're not going to be shipping to them anymore because of a lot of the legal loopholes and requirements that they're making parts manufacturers and gun manufacturers go through to ship parts and accessories to California. No, we don't make guns themselves. We do make parts for guns. So specifically the slides, and that's going to be for the Glock 19 and Glock 17. We also source parts kits from SCT Manufacturing and barrels from ELD Performance. So yeah, nothing that we require a federal license for. If we were producing the frames or fire control units, yeah, we need to have an FFL, and you know, then we fully on just produce guns. But we don't have that, so we just produce parts or source parts for resale. And our slides are, you know, for those of you who are familiar with steel, we use 17-4 stainless steel instead of 416R. A lot of manufacturers use 416R because it's easier to work with. It's less hell on your end mills. You're not going to break them as easily. 17-4 is harder. It's more corrosion resistant. You see it in some aerospace use, airplanes, things like that. But it makes, you know, it's great steel for a slide too, because your slide is just going to last so much longer. And a lot of the cosmetic cuts or porting or comps, you can do a lot more with it with 17.4 than you can 416 or lesser steel. So some people who are familiar with this, you might have heard, you know, like say the Rock Slide, you know, from Rock Slide USA and a few others, where they were having cracks, and that's because they were doing too and not using strong enough steel. Now, they might have changed that since then. This is something that was happening years ago. Maybe it's still happening. I don't know. I'm not too familiar. But people who were experiencing cracks in their slide, it's because the steel wasn't strong enough to handle the cuts that they were putting in it and then actually function. It's far less than what media and politicians go on about it, to be honest. Does it happen? Yes, absolutely. But to say like we have gun violence is also to say like the United Kingdom has knife violence. Like there are violent people and they are going to do violent things. What we do have, at least in my state, and I can say from my state, is that we have less robberies and we have less home invasions than other states, because we are, we have what we call constitutional carry, where every lawful adult can carry a firearm. And we also have, concealed carry that does not require a permit so long as you are 21 or older. So criminals here tend to think twice before just robbing somebody on the street or invading their home, because they know, at least in Arizona, there's a good chance, maybe 1 in 2, maybe even a little higher, maybe 2 in 3, that you are entering a home where the people are armed. And nobody really bothers anybody. Yes, there are, the dregs of society that we all deal with. But when it comes to gun violence, it's not as massively played out that the media makes it to be, or that politicians make it to be. I will say that most gun violence is also not done by quote-unquote assault rifles. They're mostly done by handguns, because that's what criminals can easily carry with them and conceal. It's not very ergonomic to walk around with a rifle. So when that does happen, it's definitely far and few between, the actual statistics. If you look at statistics from the FBI and the Department of Justice, more Americans are killed by being bludgeoned by fists or feet or by tools and implements than they are by guns. More Americans have been killed by being hit with a hammer than they have been by a rifle. And that includes all rifles, not, the AR-style platforms that people pretend to be scared of. I have to call it pretend at this point, because only someone who's willfully ignorant, chooses to be that way. And so I have to call it pretend, because anybody can look up capabilities and functions of what firearms do and these statistics. People just choose not to. As for my own background, like if you're ever wondering, hey, Stiffler Manufacturing, what's your guys' background? How do we know that, you know what you're talking about in shooting? I myself spent 10 years in the military. I attended multiple shooting competitions through the military. I've done private security work, and I have also worked as a range safety and basic firearms instructor in a few different capacities of my life before getting involved with Stiffler Manufacturing, before we started making parts. Additionally, I was also a Golden Eagle member of the National Rifle Association, life member of Gun Owners of America, a member of the Arizona Citizens Defense League, and the Firearms Policy Coalition, where I did a lot of Second Amendment advocacy, talking to politicians, talking to law enforcement leaders, and just people in the public about firearms, about the Second Amendment, about function, and about how Americans can protect themselves, and particularly women and the elderly, who might find themselves coming up against a large male and not be physically capable of defending themselves without assistance of a firearm. So yeah, I did a lot of advocacy in that regard. We even got a lot of first-time shooters, all-female classes, LGBT, a bunch of other different people who've never fired a gun before, and we got them to go to the range and do training, and some of them really picked up on it. So we are what you might call Second Amendment absolutists, where I don't care what your political opinion is, I don't care what your background is, I don't care what your gender is, what your religion is. If you are an American and you want to have a firearm, you have that right. I might disagree with someone politically, but I'm never going to disagree with their right to have a firearm. Oh yeah, a lot of knife. Yeah, there was a lot of debate about it a few years back when London's violent crime rate actually went higher than, it was either Chicago or New York City. I could be misremembering, but there was a lot of debate about that here because people were saying, well, hey, look at England, and it's not so much a gun issue as it is a society issue. Violent crime needs to be addressed with how we address our populace. How do we enforce laws? How do we rehabilitate criminals? It's not so much an implement issue as it is a person issue. Yes, we also have areas like that in the U.S. where law enforcement, you might what you call a crime-tolerant zone. You won't see a lot of cops talk about that, but there are areas where they just choose not to enforce certain crimes unless there's violence involved. And you will see that cops do not tend to go there. Look, you've also seen this in France, for example, very recently, where cops do not go to certain areas and do not enforce laws in certain areas. I need to get over. Nope, he's not going to let me get over. Okay. Or she. There we go. She was looking at her phone. Okay. Speaking of police, hey, we got some right down here. Looks like a traffic violation. There are apparently, according to Google, there's around 1,362 a month. Oh, that is rough. I'm not up to date what current numbers are. I do know in my area, we have an issue with drug use. Fentanyl, heroin, frickin' some of the synthetic stuff. And yeah, it is definitely a problem. And I will say though, because they are spending most of what they steal or most of what they are able to earn on drugs, you very seldomly find a tweaker with a firearm. I did encounter it once. I was doing some private security work and he did have one, but it had no ammunition. And it was very interesting because he had a very old 25 caliber pistol, 25 ACP, or was it APC? Wait, whichever. You don't see 25 caliber very often. Not even sure that there's any currently in production. You can still find the ammo, but it was a pistol popular with the mob in the 30s to maybe the 50s. They definitely liked it. Maybe even a little later. Small caliber, light. You just don't see it anymore. It's been completely wiped out by other calibers. 380, 9mm, 40, 45, even 38 special. Yeah, you just don't really see 25 anymore. And, of course, we got the police involved, and one of the cops told me that they had reason to believe that it was stolen because part of the serial number had been removed, and it matched the description of one where someone had one stolen from their home. And so, of course, they took the guy into custody. Not much the case where you see tweakers get actually taken into custody and, go to jail and receive treatment that they need. Okay, buddy. The longest stop ever. And most of the time it's catch and release. The cops will arrest them and then just let them go. And then they're back out stealing stuff and breaking into cars. And what have you. Mostly because the city and the county don't want to deal with them. From what I've seen, yes, that's possibly the case. I know you guys have, and if I'm remembering the term correctly, roadmen, people who like to just rob or mug people, and knives are kind of their choice weapon. You do also have an influx of immigrants that are not adapting well or assimilating to your culture. We have much the same problem here. I think any nation that accepts a large amount of migrants, either legally or illegally, faces that issue where there is a lack of assimilation and adaptation to the country that they are going to, the cultural norms, their society, and their laws. Now, in Western civilization, most cases is that laws are common sense. Yes, there are laws that don't make sense, where they're revenue generating, but by and large, most laws are just common sense stuff. Don't mess with people. Don't do stupid things, and you'll be okay. But there are differences, and there are definitely cultural differences, religious differences, societal differences from people that come from the East or the Middle East or from Africa. And my experience when I deployed overseas, getting to talk with local persons, is that, you know, they're people just like you and I are, like anybody is, but they do have some seriously different cultural values than we in the West do. A very common one we experienced was their attitude towards women. They do not respect women the same. They don't treat them the same. In some cases, they felt that they were dishonoring themselves by having to work with or speak with women, especially foreign women. That was something I encountered quite often. Some guys, some units would purposely force them to deal with their female soldiers, which some people agree or disagree with to varying degrees, because, hey, that's insensitive, or, hey, yeah, they should be, you know, make them deal with women, etc., etc. Let's see, who did I miss? I hear most common name in the UK for babies is Muhammad. Maybe. Not one I'm familiar with, but it's possible. The thing about keeping your borders open is it's not necessarily a bad thing. What the bad thing is that when you do not impart your expectations of society and culture on the people coming to your country. For example, America has a vastly different cultural view and society than, say, Iraq, or Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Sudan. Our lifestyle is completely different. Our values, some are going to be the same. You know, human values tend to be the same wherever you go. But cultural and societal values or religious values differ across. I might have bored a bunch of people, but that's okay. And so for those of you who were wondering, yes, we do create pistol slides for the Glock 19 and Glock 17, and I should say fits with, not for. So they're aftermarket and they work with the Glock 19 and Glock 17. That guy could have gone. I was completely held. I appreciate that he waited, but he didn't have to. He shouldn't have. I suppose it's a pet peeve of mine. I watch some people almost too polite on the road, and it hinders traffic. I do appreciate people giving you the right of way as they should, but there's rules of the road that you have to follow, and if everyone did, there wouldn't be any hang-ups or hindrances while driving. You know, unless there was, you know, an unfortunate accident or something like that. Ooh, tamales. 4 for $10. That's going up a bit. Hey, thank you for your subscription. Yeah, but go ahead. By all means, ask. Okay. There we go. We'll loop down through here, pass by all these cars. Yeah, by all means, feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to comment. We're very free form. While, of course, we are a firearms parts manufacturing company, we also just have discussions. Sometimes political. But oftentimes, you know, just usually about firearms. But feel free to ask whatever, by all means. Stiffler Manufacturing, we've been in business for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years this January. And we are veteran owned and operated. I served about 10 years. My brother served about 6 years. We had an employee who did 4 years, another shop volunteer who did 3 years, I believe it was, across the Army, the Marine Corps, and the Navy. Zanti, what's going on, brother? I cut my own hair. I ain't paying no... there's no real barbers near me anyway. If there was a real barber, like an actual barber shop, oh man, yeah, I'd probably go. Maybe like once every month or two. But there isn't. And there's all these like female hairstylists that you get charged a ridiculous amount of money for a male haircut. And it's like, I'm not getting anything styled. There's no reason this should cost like 40, 50 bucks. Like, I'll just get a pair of clippers and do it myself. Maybe for my beard. Can you perm a beard? But I wonder, how would a perm do on all this? Oh, yeah. Yep, there's no reason for me to go to a stylist. If we had a barber though that did like an actual straight razor like shave, oh hell yeah, I'd go to a barber. But I haven't seen like an actual male barber shop like that cuts men's hair in so long. That was actually one thing that was interesting. They had barbers when I was in Kuwait, and they would do straight razor shaves for your beard or for your face, for your head. That was an interesting experience. Also, when it's your first time getting it done, it's like, okay, please just don't cut me. Well, we are coming up on a property I'm going to go do some minor work at, so I'm going to switch to a green screen here. And hey, YouTube, by the way, this is a green screen. There's no live firearms on a green screen. I don't feel like I should have to say that, but apparently I do have to say that. Oh, but before I do, here's an image of New York being stupid. Oh, it's too zoomed in. Damn. Okay, so for context, the New York Police Department for New York City, NYPD, they recovered a .32 caliber revolver, and it was an H&R revolver from the 1930s. Yeah, I don't even know where you get ammo for .32 anymore. But we'll switch, show the whole thing, and I guess it's not going to let me. NYPD, man, they are freaking weird. Like, as police departments go, it's, I don't know. A lot of politics in play, I'll say that. A lot of politics in play. There we go. Let's throw this in there. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. Strip and clipped. Oh, there we are. Slap that up there. So that's one of the slides we make. It is an SM19 helmet slide. It fits the Generation 3 Glock 19. And we make that ourselves out of 17-4 stainless steel. And we Cerakote them ourselves as well. Do you have to make your own ammo on that one? Because I know there's some ammos that they just don't get made anymore, and people are forced to reload and forced to request machine shops to actually spin up brass for them anymore. Especially like that older actual copper brass, or I was about to say brass casing, copper cased ammunition. You have to get them specially made, from what I understand, because obviously nobody makes that anymore. But anyway, sometimes I throw up the green screen just because I'm bored of showing the road, or because the area is not really great to look at. Or in the case of me being on a property or what have you, where I'm going to be doing some side work and I don't have their permission to just do a live. Even if I thought they might be okay with it, until I get permission, I don't do that. You know, it's their property. I don't want to show the live without, you know, their express permission. Oh, no worries, man. It's like 56 here. It's freaking nippy. I mean, I know that's not cold to people back east, but to Arizonans, that's freaking cold. Funny enough, earlier we were talking about, you know, crime and tweakers and whatnot. And as I'm on this dude's property, I'm just waiting for him to show up. Unless he gives me the word to take off and whatever. It's gonna be an easy $50, you know? But there's people hanging out next to his property right now. Vagrants definitely look like they are drug using. Got the body language. Yeah. Stay strapped, man. Just stay strapped. Oh, no, screw that. 28? Absolutely not. I will never live somewhere where it gets that cold. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we'll go to northern Arizona. Because then if it just gets too cold, I can just drive south. No big issue. There we are. Yeah, 28's awful. That sounds freaking horrible. One of them is just giving me the evil eye right now. Maybe I should turn the live back on. You guys can check this weirdo out. But it's this dude's property, so no. Oh, we'll swap this around a little bit. This is the SM19 helmet in Arctic white. And we'll swap it to something else. Let's see. I need to take some more photos, honestly, of just builds, and I haven't done it. I really need to. Here's also the same helmet in graphite black. And it's kind of cold for us. I mean, it's not bad right out, you know, like right now. I could totally go out and do stuff in this. I'd go out and shoot in this, no problem. But when you just get out of a summer that was 117, 55 is freaking cold. Not the coldest I've ever experienced, but cold nonetheless. Oh, right on, FE. No worries, man. Oh, sorry, guys. He's pulling up, so this is where I'm going to end it. Thank you guys so much for popping in on my live. We'll probably try and do another one, maybe tonight or tomorrow. But you guys have a great one, and as always, stay 2A every day.